Does this look familiar? I can help. I'm Wes Wallace with All Doors Overhead. I've been helping you with your garage doors for 25 years. If it's stuck, making noise, or needs to be replaced, I can do it. Now, isn't that better?
I am not for incorporation. In these trying financial times, we should be looking to consolidate liabilities, not expanding them. And you'd have to be awful foolish to think that incorporation is going to save you money. I draw on life's experiences, and as a former resident of Douglas County, that's South Lake Tahoe and Minden, I know that the average house out there and the average person is probably a little more successful than here. And so if those people out there that should be a little smarter if they've achieved a little more financially in life, do not think that incorporation anywhere, including South Lake Tahoe, is a good idea. Why would it work for us and not them? But on the other hand, I can change my mind. As I said, this town needs to stand up to the county commissioners. And if things don't start changing around here, then I might have to change my mind. Because we're getting shortchanged here. So, but at this point, I'm against it. And I will do everything I can to make this town function better and a lot less money spending. But if it doesn't happen, like I said, I reserve the right to change my mind. You ask me a question, I give you an honest answer.
I've spent a lot of time researching this question because it's one that comes from you citizens on a regular basis as to what are your views on incorporating? How do you stand on incorporation for the town of Pahrump? And I must tell you that when I've done my research, I've gone all the way to seeing what our state legislature is going to be doing in the next session. And taking that information that I've gathered, which is that right now in the interim sessions that have been going on, there has been a number of meetings and discussions based on research that our legislators are doing through the Nevada Commission on Local Governance. And they're doing their research because they'd like to do some bill draft resolutions that would change the NRSs with regards to local governance, which is right now established that the legislators, we in the state of Nevada operate under Dillon's rule or home rule, and there's a lot of information there if you ever wanted to look at how our charter and our state constitution was developed. But with that, what has been established since we had a state constitution is that the state legislature has governance initially over most regulations, over most decisions. Then the NRSs allows for other decision-making going into the county commissioners and then into municipalities, into your cities. What we have now is a town, and we fall on the very bottom rung of that decision-making. Now that's not a bad place to be. We have our own local control because we are a town that has our own ordinances and our own charter. But with those changes that are coming about, we really need to look how much local control we can have and how cooperatively can we work with the county commissioners. If we want to stay as a town, we need to be as viable of an entity as we can be, and we need to do that through a collaborative effort with the county, with the state, and with the federal government, because we live under all those rules and regulations. So for us to stay as a town, which I support, we do have to understand where we are and govern accordingly. If we want to have more local control, if we want to have more ability to decide where our tax dollars go, then we really should look at incorporation.
I am pro-incorporation. I've seen what it can do in other communities across this country when I've been traveling. The county commissioners all have been saying, we want the residents to decide. The town board has said, we want the residents to decide. The residents have said, we want a right to make our own decision. I don't know about you, but you've all read the paper recently. I'm the only one, as a private citizen, standing up to the county commission and saying, give the people the right to make the decision. If they put it on the ballot November 2012, that is 2 years to educate. There are people for incorporation, there are people against incorporation. That's 2 years of educating on both sides to help you make the decision if you do or don't want incorporation. If it is voted down at the polls and it says, it's once again said, no, we don't want incorporation, as far as I'm concerned, it's a dead issue. But the people will have the right to decide. The legislative body has gone on the record in the past and in current, this interim session, that if it is, the people do not want incorporation, they will not play host to a bill draft request. They will not get in between government and the citizens. Bottom line, that was put on the record. Funding, again, in the education process, where will the funds come from? How will they be distributed? This is all part of the education process. Your Incorporation Advisory Board has had 2 studies before them. They are currently working on fine-tuning the second one. That was a directive from your town board to them. The charter, in the interim time between now and the time it goes on the ballot, it cannot go on the ballot unless you do a special election, and nobody's going to want to spend $30,000 on a special election. So 2012 is the first an advisory question can go on the ballot for you to answer yes or no. That charter will be drafted, and there will be a draft charter available, again, to help educate everybody. The residents do, in my opinion, have the intelligence to say yes or no. And that's the bottom line. We're not Lake Tahoe, we're not Douglas County. You are intelligent people. We may not make it what everybody else in the country makes, but you have the right and you have the intelligence to say yes or no. Thank you.
For News 46, I'm Roving Rodney.